How are you doing, guys? ZDEyE here. So today I wanted to touch on the Outer Worlds. So It's Funny has got its very first reviews popping in and basically, talking a little bit about it as well, the score wise. And mind you, the Outer World ended up being a very good game. And maybe to some of you guys, maybe it's not much of a surprise since it is being developed by the Obsidian, the pretty much the workers of the creators of the Fallout New Vegas as well. So there's some kind of similarities to this. It will be in here as well. Now mind you, there were some a little bit of bad marks, but also that's a little bit questionable due to the fact that I don't particularly think, in my personal opinion, that those are very bad things. Now, in Metacritic, if we do take a look at this, some of you may not even agree to the point because, it's just basically summarizing most of the reviews that's been already released and basically published as of this moment. Obviously, we still have 3 days to go until the official launch of the game, and so the rest of us are going to get our hands on it and experience the game as well, so we'll be able to give our own proper, real reviews. Now mind you, people that did get their hands on this experience, such as the Outer Worlds, it's a good thing. I'm not gonna deny that fact for sure. There are plenty of other people out there, I'm not gonna mention them on purposely for this, specifically for this video, because you can always trust and whoever you like to watch. Now, IGN is an example, even though I said I'm not gonna mention it. IGN, they're way too big not to be recognized into some kind of degree. Basically, they gave it a game into 8.5 out of 10. There's so many reviewers out there actually give it a similar rating, 85 out of 10 or 8.5 out of 10. There's some guys give it an 8, and also there's some more to give it a 9. Actually, talking about it as well, I think it was GameSpot that gave it a 9 out of 10 for this game as well. That's actually very good, very good reviews I'm talking about. Also, while recording of this video, I actually noticed that there's actually 2 reviewers, well, so far anyway, I should mention, that actually gave it a masterpiece review, 10 out of 10, well, 100 out of 100 basically. And one comes from the We Got This Covered, and the other is EGM. Now, let me actually get into the very positives of this game as well. I want to reference it in here, and also, yes, I'm going to be mentioning the negativities from this game as well. So this comes from We Got This Covered, and that's what they mention in the quotes, basically summarization. It is dizzyingly deep, painstakingly polished, remarkably replayable, and marvelously moorish. Wow, what are you trying to do, poetry? The Outer Worlds is one of the most refined and well-written RPGs of the generation. Pretty simple, somewhat understandable, not always, but yeah, okay. We can't really do much of summarization from there. If we do go to the next one, the other big it is coming from EGM. The Outer Worlds is an impressive spiritual success of the Obsidian's work of the Fallout New Vegas, mixing familiar design elements and the same zany attitude with the imaginative new universe and even deeper role-playing. While you can breeze through the main questline a bit quicker than similar games, this is the sort of the RPG experience you'll want to play through multiple times with multiple builds to see all the systems and the narrative paths on the offer. That's actually very good. That's a much better summarization. Obviously, there are some things regarding this. I definitely completely I agree. Well, I should mention that I can't say negative anything about it since I did not play the game as well. I definitely want to touch on the negatives of this game as well, that it is being summarized. One of these guys, as such as the Digital Fix, they give it a 7 out of 10. That's the second lowest rating for this game. It's actually very good still. That's considered to be just an average. Well, that's for the reviews, that's considered to be average. 7, if you guys did not know, a bit of a tip actually. If reviews consider 7 out of 10 to be an average game. So what does 5 mean? Well, to them, it doesn't really mean anything, I guess. It just means bad, in some cases. Personally, for me, 5 is an average game. That's for me. And so yes, that's of course, I'm a lot more critical of the games and that's such I play. When I do give a game maybe say a 7 out of 10, that does not necessarily mean that's just an average game. It's kind of a higher degree than average. Anyway, now this coming from Digital Fix, as I mentioned. Despite the intriguing setting and some solid combat, The Outer Worlds borrows too much from its series. It's heavily influenced by, leaving it feeling void of originality. Yes, now we have to understand that for one thing for sure. It is made by Obsidian, as I mentioned, but I don't know what that's a bad thing necessarily. Now, we're not actually talking about, like, say, Borderlands, right? It's developed by the same team, but yet it looks almost super identical. Now, this looks entirely different, in my personal opinion. Yes, the concept is similar to some sort of degree, but you have to understand, I don't think this is like more of a sequel. This is a genuinely new game that I can see, in my opinion. Also, this is the worst one that I gave it, is by Gaming Trend. For better or worse, The Outer Worlds is a perfectly middle-of-the-road open-world RPG. It doesn't take any big risks, but that also keeps it from falling on its face. Whoa. Despite some great writing, the game doesn't have much to say about the corporeal dystopia it establishes. Ultimately, playing it too safe to justify the premise. Obsidian's expertise with the genre makes The Outer Worlds a competent RPG, if not an especially interesting one. Okay, well, I guess that this review, Gaming Trend, has touched on regarding that the game is being way too safe and it does not try to take any risks. Yes, I definitely can see this. But I don't believe personally that it should deserve like a 65 out of 100. Personally, as the reviews go, again, it's below average. That's what this individual considers this game to be. So far that I've seen, I don't really think it, it's a below average game. That's so far that I've seen. I've also looked through a bunch of different reviews, such as as big as, IGN. I have already mentioned them. Quite others, GameSpot, I also mentioned it. But I definitely want to touch on this. They're all mentioning it very positive things. One of the negatives, if that's even considered to be taking it as a negative, it's basically there's not much to do in that world. That does not mean replayability value. No, I'm talking about what you can see and explore and, in that sort of degree, doing. Now, it's because it's obviously not an open world, the game, right? It's more of a touch on the linear approach, even though is still a very big game. Now, that's not really considered to be a negative thing, in my personal opinion. Again, I actually think it's a good thing. I am sick and tired of playing open world games that are always redundant and always trying to be safe in some sort of degree, such as like there's a collectible over there, go collect those shit. Like Ubisoft does in general, they do it. It's ludicrous, it's not needed any longer. No thanks, it's too much of it. But yes, this takes a little bit different approach, and I like it. I don't really see how this is safe approach, but yes, I can see a lot of similarities from taking from, again, such as the New Vegas, implement into here. But yet, you have to understand the developers are the same guys that pretty much created the New Vegas and now putting all their expertise into this game. So I don't know if that's really to be considered to be like a negative thing. I actually think that will actually be justifiable giving it like a 1- point for this game. Sure, okay. I can see why a lot of people will give it like a 9, maybe give it an 8 out of 10 if they're saying this just there's not enough risk takings. It's a way too safe of a game. These guys don't know what the hell they're doing, so you won't be able to expect too much out of it. If that's how the reviews went, okay, 8 or 9 out of 10. That's somewhat understandable in my personal opinion. This game seems like it could actually be a contender of the Game of the Year, and that's an excellent thing in my personal opinion. I really do want to see more games such as this coming into fruition, since like Fallout, a disaster coming from Bethesda, and now if you guys did not know, Doom Eternal is getting delayed, so yes, there's some kind of questionable routes already going for, but whatever, that's just a personal thoughts coming in here. As of this moment, as I already have mentioned, on PlayStation 4 this game is getting as a Metacritic 86. On a PC it's actually lower, it's 83, well, as of recording this video, of course. And on Xbox it's actually 85. But yet, again, I'm sure this is going to be changed as far more reviewers are going to be able to get their hands on this game and to get their reviews out as well. This seems like it's going to be a good game. I'm definitely going to be picking it up. I'm definitely going to be making my own review for this game. Tell me down in the comments if you would like to see that as well. I am actually still considering if I would want to make a heavy edited review, sort of like in Sekiro style that I did, or maybe a little bit of a discussion review sort of thing, right? Obviously it's going to take much quicker for me to develop that a discussion review, or I have to go through the bullet points and give my own real thoughts on that, like, heart-to-heart conversation. Or I could just make it more of a scripted, heavily edited review. That's really is up to you guys if you would like to see either or. Anyway, well, I think that's that. Thank you so much for watching. Tell me down in the comments regarding the question. But yes, thank you again. Like and subscribe. See you guys all later. And yeah, this is gonna be exciting. Can't wait, and have a good one.